Hey everyone, welcome back to Fit.Fueled.Female. Today, I'm coming at you from a hotel room in Tulsa because that's just life for me lately, on the road again. Today, I want to talk about detox. Do you know what no one tells you about doing a detox? You don't have to actually sign up for it. Sometimes life signs you up for it for you. Hi, I'm Kristen, and I've spent the last month unintentionally detoxing from alcohol, energy, comfort food, social events, and apparently joy. Between a brutal illness, a medication with a middle name of dizziness, and more mocktails than I care to admit, let's just say this wasn't your average cleanse. But somewhere between the saltines and the sparkling water in a wine glass, something shifted. I started seeing things more clearly. Not just my fridge contents or bathroom tiles, because let's be honest, I've become very familiar with those lately, but my habits, my choices, my circle. And y'all, nothing reveals the cracks in your system like trying to re enter real life after being completely down for the count. Picture this. I finally felt like I was turning a corner. Day one of real food, still dizzy, still off caffeine, but determined. I wrangled both kids out the door, on time, might I add, and made it all the way to my daughter's school, which is about 25 minutes away, before realizing no shoes, no backpack, no water bottles, and no hope. Cue the emergency Target run at 7:45 a.m. Two kids in tow, me running on complete fumes and sheer stubbornness. And what did I leave with? A single pair of sparkly unicorn shoes. That was it. That was the win. She wore them like a queen, and I sent her into school with a prayer that she wouldn't need a change of clothes or hydration for the rest of the day. And when I asked her, Lily, why didn't you put your shoes on? She looked at me, shrugged, and in her sassy little way said, well, Mommy, this is your fault. You didn't bring them. Touche, Lily, touche. But you know what? That moment, frazzled, furious, and frantically pushing a red cart through Target at sunrise, was the wake-up call. Not because I crushed the morning. Oh no. I screamed in the car. I think I scared both the kids and myself. I, of course, blame my husband, who was completely innocent, and basically taught my kids the very questionable life lesson of forget it, no worries, we'll just buy something new. So, no, it wasn't a proud mom moment. It was a Target tantrum aisle 5 moment. But it was also real and humbling. And once I stopped sweating, honestly, kind of hilarious. It wasn't a grace under pressure, but it was a lesson. Because this detox, it's not about perfection. It's about clearing the mental clutter, confronting the chaos, and realizing that sometimes when the wheels fall off, it's not failure, it's feedback. So this episode isn't about cutting sugar or cutting carbs or signing up for a juice cleanse. It's about clearing out the things, big or small, that can leave us depleted and feel disconnected. So we're detoxing from more than just food today, my friends. We're detoxing from the crap that keeps us from being the fit, fueled, powerful women that we are so meant to be. And this leads me to lesson number 1. Detox the pressure to be perfect, y'all. Why is it that even after a total system shutdown, our instinct is to come back stronger, faster, better, basically flawless? I spent nearly a month barely functioning, surviving on toast, rice, electrolytes, and just enough energy to get to the bathroom without collapsing. I rested, I slowed down, I listened to my body, I let go. And then, the minute I felt a little normal again, I definitely swung the pendulum hard in the opposite direction. Suddenly, I wasn't easing back into life. I was sprinting towards some self-imposed standard of perfection. Like, okay, you've had your sick days. Now let's be a model mom, partner, professional, fitness junkie, meal prepper, and maybe even throw in a little sparkle while you're at it. It wasn't about recovery. It was about performance. And here's the kicker. No one was asking me to do it all. Not my kids, not my husband, not my job. This pressure, it was all me. It hit me in that chaotic Target run at 7:45 a.m. Kids in tow, dizzy from my meds, and mad at the world, frantically hunting for toddler shoes like it was some kind of a sport. I wasn't mad because I forgot the shoes. I was mad because I'd ruined my comeback narrative. Because in my head, healed equaled high functioning, which equaled flawless. But we do this, don't we? We turn healing into a race. We attach our value to how quickly and cleanly we can pull ourselves back together. We give ourselves zero grace and somehow expect gold star outcomes. But here's what I'm learning in real time. Perfection isn't the goal. It's actually the trap. It's the thing that keeps us anxious, exhausted, and disconnected from the real progress that we're making. Because the truth is, I was showing up. I was driving my kids. I was making food. I was off alcohol, on probiotics, back in the gym, even if at just 75%. But that's not failure, y'all. That's fierce. So I'm rewriting the comeback script. It doesn't need to be pristine. It needs to be honest. It needs to be you. And sometimes it might look like sparkly unicorn shoes from Target and a mom just trying to do her best, imperfectly, but completely. So let's detox the pressure to be perfect. Not just because it's unrealistic, but because it truly sets us up to fail. Perfection isn't the prize, and you don't need it to be powerful. You just need to be present, fueled, real, and you. That's where the fit, fueled, powerful woman lives, right there in the mess, with sparkly shoes and all. This leads me to lesson number 2. This lesson is really hard when we talk about detox, but it's important that we detox the relationships that no longer serve you. Because here's what nobody tells you about rock bottom. It clears the room, sometimes for better and sometimes for worse. We don't just need to detox our body, sometimes we need to detox our life. And that unfortunately means people. But it doesn't happen all at once. It happens in rounds. It happens in moments of your life, each one pulling back another layer of what no longer fits. The first round, silent losses. For me, if you'd met me back then, you would have sworn I had gone into witness protection. During the most toxic and difficult parts of my first marriage, I didn't just lose parts of myself, I lost people. Not because they did anything wrong, but because I pulled away. I didn't have the space or language to explain what I was going through. I didn't even know what I was going through myself. And I hated feeling like a disappointment. So I pretty much disappeared from my old life and got really trapped in my current one. Some of those losses, they really still sting. They were good people, but I was trying to survive in silence. And for me, silence had a cost. But my first rule of detoxing, toxicity shrinks your world until even the healthy people can't fit. Round 2, the divorce fallout. Turns out there's a seating chart when you blow up your life and you don't actually get to pick who stays at the table. When I ended my first marriage, the ripple effect hit hard. Some people simply didn't want the full story. They just wanted somebody to blame. And because I was the one who left, that someone, that was me. Friends I thought would check in didn't. Others distanced themselves from me without a word. No confrontation, no questions, just quiet exits. And the ones who did have questions, it was almost as if they really didn't want to hear my answers. I wasn't out there justifying anything. I was grieving, rebuilding, trying to rediscover my voice. That chapter already took enough. I was not going to give it my piece too. But here's the gift. That detox made room for the love I have now. I have a marriage that's rooted in ease, respect, and joy. A partner who sees me fully and loves me in my strength and softness. Someone who's my best friend. So for me, letting go, it actually led me home. My second rule of detoxing, some people only stand by you when your choices make them feel comfortable. The right ones, they don't need an explanation. Round 3, the long distance fade. Nothing reveals the elasticity of a friendship like 900 miles in a new area code. When my husband and I first moved to Texas, it was hard. I expected to feel nostalgic, but what I didn't expect was the grief. Some friendships just faded. Calls stopped, messages slowed, and suddenly, the people I swore would be in my life forever weren't. I tried to hold on, I made the effort, but at some point I realized I was the only one reaching. So my third rule of detoxing, distance doesn't end friendships, it just exposes the ones being held up by convenience. Round 4, the illness sort, aka the final sweep. COVID, E. coli, all the things. This year, my body broke down. I was wiped physically, mentally, emotionally. And when you're that low, you start noticing who checks in and who goes quiet. What amazed me was that some of the loudest love came from the newest people, Friends I'd made recently showed up with texts, voice notes, thoughtful gifts, care. And the ones who had always been there, they stayed steady. That's when I realized all those painful rounds of loss weren't for nothing. They cleared the space for the right people. People who didn't just love me when I was performing, producing, or pushing through. They loved me in the stillness, in the mess, in the quiet. So my final rule of detoxing, if they're still here after the storms, and there will be storms, they're not just friends. They're family. They're your foundation. They're the heart of it all. I used to think strength was holding on. Now I know it's in the release. Every round to me felt like some sort of subtraction, but in hindsight, it was refinement. And now, for the first time in a really long time, I look around and know I'm not rebuilding anymore. I'm finally rooted. This leads me to my power move. I want you to detox one thing this week. Let's not burn it all down. You don't need a full life overhaul to feel better. You just need to clear that one thing that's been draining you. Maybe it's that extra scroll before bed, the second or third glass of wine that maybe you don't even enjoy, the group chat that leaves you anxious, or the pressure to say yes when your soul is screaming no. Just one thing. Clear it. Replace it with something that fuels you. Rest, breath, movement, space, something small but honest. Because one detoxed habit, thought, or obligation, that's the first step back to being fully you. Let's get into what's been fueling me lately. Besides a lot of water and stubbornness, mocktail mules. Mocktail mules are my go-to non-alcoholic drink, and for those of you who don't know what they are, it's basically just a Moscow mule without the vodka, so ginger beer and lime. And there's something about it that just feels great. For me, I've been really nauseous, so the ginger beer has helped, but most of the time it comes in the same copper glass, so you feel like you're part of something, and you feel like you don't have to explain why you're not drinking. So those have been what's been fueling me, but also I've officially entered my sparkling water in a fancy glass era, and honestly, I haven't been that mad about it. A special little shout out to Recess because somehow they found a way to bottle calm. A can of their mood lifting magic plus a copper mug and some ginger lime vibes with my mocktail mule. That's been my Friday night reset. No alcohol needed, no regrets the next morning. So, while I'm still rebuilding energy and slowly coming back online, these little rituals are reminding me fuel isn't always food or fitness. Sometimes it's peace in a can or that sparkling water in your wine glass with a lime. So, this week, whether you're detoxing perfection, people, or just that one thing that's been weighing you down, I want you to give yourself permission to release. Not because you failed, but because you're growing. And remember, healing isn't linear. Progress doesn't have to be pretty. Sometimes it looks like sparkly shoes and a cart full of grace. So, your power move? Detox that one thing. Fuel up on what actually serves you. Mocktail in hand, recess in the fridge, copper mug in rotation. We're thriving ish. So, this wraps up this episode of Fit.Fueled.Female. I want to again just say thank you. It has been so overwhelmingly amazing to see the comments, the messages, and just the people who have come to listen to these episodes. It really just means the world. I ask for you to please leave a review. Please share it with someone who you think will get benefit out of these. And I again just want to truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank all of you who have been with me through these 5 episodes. So, as always, y'all, stay fit, stay fueled, and I really look forward to seeing you next time.